What a roller coaster of a race we had at Spa. Right from the moment the lights went out, everything about the Belgian Grand Prix felt unpredictable, and that's exactly what made Oscar Piastri's performance stand out. While the weather threatened chaos and strategies were up in the air, Piastri kept a cool head and made all the right moves. Starting from the second position, he launched off the grid like a bullet, using perfect timing and razor-sharp instincts to take the lead in the first few corners. Even with the wet track and low visibility through Eau Rouge, he made it look easy. That's the kind of control and calm that separates a rising star from the rest of the grid. And then came the strategy call, arguably the most critical moment of the race. While some hesitated, Piastri's team made the perfect decision on when to switch from intermediates to slicks. Timing is everything in mixed conditions, and his pit stop was executed flawlessly. From that point on, it was all about managing the pace, and Oscar did just that. He never allowed the gap to close too much and kept the pressure on Lando Norris, who couldn't match the Australian's consistency under pressure. After the race, Piastri admitted he had some concerns going into a rolling start, thinking it might limit his chances of overtaking early. But he trusted his gut, stayed aggressive through turn 1, and capitalized on every opportunity the track gave him. What stood out even more was his awareness of the importance of the slipstream up the hill and his ability to position himself exactly where he needed to be. It's that kind of racing IQ that wins championships. This wasn't just another victory. It was Piastri's 6th win of the season, and one that brings him even closer to the top of the championship standings. The gap between him and Norris is now razor thin. Just 16 points separate the two teammates. With so many races still ahead, the title fight is heating up fast. Do you think Piastri can take the lead in the next round? Let me know in the comments. And if you're enjoying this kind of deep F1 breakdown, hit that like button and subscribe now. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers and counting. Stick around, because next we're diving into what went wrong for Norris. Now let's talk about Lando Norris, who started this race from the best possible position, pole. You'd think that would have given him the edge to take another victory, but things didn't unfold the way he'd hoped. Norris had the initial advantage, sure, but the wet conditions and the unpredictable nature of Spa completely neutralized that upper hand. From the very first moments of the race, he found himself under serious pressure, and it didn't take long before his own teammate, Oscar Piastri, got the jump on him and never looked back. To his credit, Norris wasn't bitter about the result. After the race, he admitted that Piastri had simply done a better job off the line and made all the right calls. That kind of honesty is refreshing, especially when the stakes are this high. It shows maturity and a real sense of perspective from the young Brit, who knows the season is far from over. He also pointed out that while his pace on the hard tires toward the end of the race was strong, it just wasn't enough to close the gap and mount a serious challenge for the win. What really stood out was how Norris handled the defeat. He acknowledged the small mistakes he made and gave full credit to Piastri for nailing every aspect of the race. That kind of sportsmanship isn't something you see every day, especially in such a tight championship fight. But don't be fooled. He's already got his eyes on redemption. With Budapest up next, Norris mentioned that it's a circuit he typically enjoys and where he's had success in the past, so he's definitely not backing down. Right now, with only 16 points separating him from Piastri, every single race becomes a must-win situation. That sets the stage for an incredible second half of the season, especially with both McLaren drivers going toe-to-toe. What do you think? Can Norris bounce back in Budapest and retake control of the championship race? Drop your answer in the comments below. And don't forget, if you're enjoying this kind of coverage, smash that like button and hit subscribe so you never miss an update. Coming up next, we're diving into Lewis Hamilton's gritty weekend and what it means for Ferrari. While the headlines focused on Piastri and Norris, there was another story quietly unfolding in the midfield. Lewis Hamilton, at 40 years old, fighting through one of the most difficult weekends of his season. Right from the practice sessions, things weren't looking good for the seven-time world champion. Track limit violations, lack of grip, and a car that just didn't feel connected left Hamilton starting further down the grid than he's used to. In both the sprint and qualifying, he couldn't push past the early eliminations. But if you've followed Hamilton long enough, you know that writing him off is always a mistake. Despite the rough start, Lewis showed the kind of resilience that has defined his career. On Sunday, when it really counted, he managed to work his way up through the field and bring the car home in 6th place. That may not sound like a major victory, but given the circumstances and how far off pace Ferrari seemed at times, it was a strong damage limitation drive. After the race, Hamilton took full accountability. He apologized to the Ferrari team for not delivering more and admitted he hadn't been at his best, but he also praised the squad for nailing the race strategy, which helped him recover and pick up valuable points. It's a rare thing to see someone of his status openly admit fault, but that's what makes him a champion on and off the track. It's clear that Hamilton is still hungry, still focused, and still pushing to get more out of this Ferrari partnership. While the car hasn't been a title contender this season, performances like this keep Ferrari in the hunt for key midfield positions and show that Lewis isn't just coasting toward retirement. He's still fighting for every point. So, here's a question for you. Should Hamilton stay in F1 beyond this season, or is it time to start thinking about a farewell tour? Let me know what you think in the comments. And hey, if you respect Lewis's never-give-up mentality, give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. We've still got Verstappen's heated post-race comments to cover. Don't miss it. If there's one thing Max Verstappen doesn't do, it's hold back. And after the Belgian Grand Prix, he made sure the FIA knew exactly how he felt about the delayed start. While the rain was definitely a factor and visibility at Spa can become a serious concern, Verstappen wasn't buying the caution. In his post-race comments, he blasted the race direction for taking too long to get things going. In his view, 2 or 3 laps behind the safety car would have been more than enough to judge the conditions and go racing. He didn't mince words either, questioning whether Formula One was becoming too safe, too hesitant, and ultimately compromising the show that fans tune in to see. "Are we going to wait for the track to be dry enough for slicks before we start?" he asked sarcastically. "Because that's not a wet race, that's just waiting around." For Verstappen, the delay took away a big part of what makes racing in the rain so thrilling. Adapting on the fly, finding grip, and taking risks. His frustration didn't seem to be personal. It was about the direction of the sport. And whether you agree with him or not, you have to admit, this is classic Max. Always pushing the limits, always demanding more from the sport he dominates. But the bigger question is this: should F1 listen? Safety is the priority, no question. And when cars are aquaplaning or visibility is zero, delaying the start is the responsible call. But there's definitely a debate to be had about whether F1 is becoming too cautious in borderline conditions. Fans want action, not an hour and 20 minutes of waiting. And when a top driver like Verstappen speaks out, it forces the sport to take a hard look at where the balance should be. So, what's your take? Do you agree with Verstappen that F1 is getting too soft in the rain? Drop your opinion in the comments below. And hey, if you live for these kinds of debates and behind-the-scenes drama, make sure to subscribe to the channel and join the community. Coming up next, we spotlight Gabriel Bortoleto's strong drive and mature mindset in the chaos of Spa. Let's talk about one of the most promising young drivers on the grid, Gabriel Bortoleto. The Brazilian is quietly putting together a solid rookie season, and his performance at Spa was another sign that he's maturing fast. Finishing in 9th place and scoring points for only the 2nd time in his Formula One career, Bortoleto showed poise, patience, and smart decision-making in one of the trickiest races of the year so far. He started the race in 10th, managed a clean getaway, and avoided the chaos around him. But what really stood out was how he responded to team strategy. At one point, the team asked Nico Hülkenberg to let him through because Bortoleto had the faster pace. He made the most of that opportunity, closed in on Liam Lawson, and nearly overtook him for 8th. It was a strong drive, not reckless, but calculated. Gabriel explained after the race that earlier in the season, in situations like Silverstone, he might have pushed too early for a tire change and lost ground. But this time, he learned from that. Instead of diving into the pits prematurely, he waited an extra lap before switching to slicks, and it paid off. He knew what the car could deliver, and he squeezed every last drop of performance out of it. As for the team order with Hülkenberg, Bortoleto was transparent. He made it clear to the pit wall that if he couldn't pass Lawson, he was willing to give the place back. But things didn't go that way. Hülkenberg fell back after a second pit stop, and Bortoleto held on to 9th. Even with the missed opportunity to attack Lawson again, the respect between teammates was evident, and that says a lot about the atmosphere within Sauber. And when asked about the long delay before the race start, Bortoleto didn't echo Verstappen's anger. Instead, he praised the FIA for putting safety first. He said, "The track was undrivable at first, and the delay was the right call." Now tell me, do you think Bortoleto deserves more backing from Sauber moving forward? Let me know in the comments. And if you're rooting for this young Brazilian talent, don't forget to like the video and subscribe so we can hit that 1,000 subscriber milestone together.